So based on your domain knowledge, you have to put that domain knowledge related to data science. So then you can apply to jobs. Okay.
So after applying, shall I be count as an fresher or as an experienced guy?
You have to claim at least minimum 3 years of experience as a data scientist. So nowadays the competition is heavy for data science. I think you are aware, right? So initially in data
Yeah.
science, they used to ask different types of machine learning algorithms and other kind of things. But now they are specifically focusing in interviews on actually he worked or not and how he worked as a real time. So they are considering those parameters in an interview. Understood?
Yes, sir.
We will go through this course content at the end of the session. Now I will take around 40 minutes of session and I will give clarity today agenda about what is data science, what is AI, what is statistical methods, and what is deep learning. You have a lot of confusion about these words, right? So let's see. Okay, let me start recording. So where is the recording option? The session is being recorded. Okay, it's okay. Guys, I'm just changing the headphones again. After I change, I'll ask.
No, sir, we are not able to hear right now.
Please try later. మీరు డయల్ చేస్తున్న నంబర్ ప్రస్తుతం
I'll start. Is the session is recording? Let me check. It's recording. The session is being recorded. Okay. It is. Okay, guys. Everyone able to see my screen, right, friends? Guys, are you able to see my screen, right? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
See, today agenda of this session is because of the confusion words about in social media or whatever the platform, what is data science, what is AI, what is deep learning, and what is data mining, and what is statistics, what is statistical method, is data science and AI is both are same or it's different. Let's see today. Okay. So whenever you go to social media, you are seeing data science is the sexiest job in the 21st century. Data is the new oil, and data science is the itself. It's a combustion engine, and data science is a future. But these are all the interesting statements about data science that kind of make you excited to learn or to search what is data science, and you want to get skilled on the data science. So none of this actually the definition of the data science. These things tell about what is the power of data science. Let's see but what exactly is data science? Okay. So, but what exactly is data science, and what does a data scientist actually work in the real world or day-to-day work job as a data scientist, and how maths and programming skills important for data science, and how data science is related to this popular worlds called machine learning, deep learning, and AI. Okay. So today I will clear about this thing. So I'll try to clear confusion what exactly data science and how it is related to different industries, and what are the skills you require to become data scientist. Okay. So these are the things. Let's see one by one what is data science. So what is data science? So in data science, it is a mixture of multiple tasks involved in day-to-day job, right? So someone do data analyst and they claim as a data scientist. Someone who do business analyst or Power BI developer or Tableau developer and they claimed as a what? Data scientist. So thus those things are part in a data science, and that is not actually a data science work. That is the pipeline work. Let's see what is the pipeline. We will see afterwards. Okay. So mixture of multiple tasks involved in job and application dependent task. See, in application dependent task, let's say in finance domain, let's say they will build a credit card score. So for every credit card you will have score, right? So they will build using machine learning model. They will build the score. In that building machine learning model, so as a data scientist, your job is to what? You have to only build that machine learning model, and someone will do again what? Model monitoring. Their job is to restrict only model monitoring, and others and model building, and others they have to do only data pre-processing. Who are doing data pre-processing, they are not involved in machine learning model building, and who are in model building, they are not involved in model monitoring, but themselves also they will call as a data scientist. So it's depend upon application dependent. And in if you take in pharma they will only apply statistical methods and they called as a data scientist. Understood? So they will use only statistics and statistical methods. Still, their designation is what? Data scientist. So the combination of different job roles involved in data science task. Understood? So let's see what are the different tasks data scientists should know. Okay. So this is what? Collecting data. See, first job is what? Data scientist collecting data from different sources, from different databases or different sources. So this is one part of a job, but always data scientist no need to do this thing. Data engineering team will be there to do these things. Understood? Let's say if you have data enrich company like Amazon, Flipkart, so they don't need to collect data, right? They have customers, they'll always do transactions and they'll generate every day data. Facebook, right? So for data enrich kind of companies not required to collect the data. So let's say some part of the data science they have to go and collect the data. Like let's say some government introduced new policy. So when they introduce new policy, uh, 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 that concerned people are happy or not, you have to give report to the government. So you don't have data readily available. So what data science statistician or other kind of roles they do, they'll go and collect the data from people and they will publish the reports. After publishing reports, if they are satisfied with those policies or not satisfied, they'll present those presentations in front of the government, like election poll, right? So they'll give sample poll, based on sample poll who are going to win. So every time they have to collect the data. If you collect data for 2019 elections, and if the election happened in 2014 again, so before going to election, so this data is irrelevant for this election for 2024, right? So again they have to collect new data. Based on those data they will say some party is going to win. Understood? So in those cases data scientists have to collect the data. Some in different domains also they have to go and collect the data. So this is all about data collecting. And here another stage is there, which is data storing. Data store. So storing data, see, we have different types of storing data. Let's see, one is what? Structured data, means transaction and operational research, patient records, employee records, telephone bill records, and other things. So sales records and different types of records will be available in different domains: finance, transactions, and everything, credit card details, and everything. So data will be stored in what? In different databases, right? Let's say if you take credit card for banking system, if you take banking system, for banking they will have banking customers, and in banking also they will have credit card, right? So who are having bank account, most of them having credit cards also, and who are having credit cards also, they may have some investment in banking. So banking customers, they will store the data in one database, and credit card details they will store in different database, and investment details they will store in different database. So if you want to do some analysis, means if you want to do some analytics, you have to combine those data sources with what? Data warehouses. Data warehouse is nothing but what? Data from multiple structured databases integrated into common repositories in data warehouse. Understood? So you have to integrate all the data sources into common repository. That is nothing but data warehouse. To do what? To support analytics. Understood? So so this is all this is one way to store the data. And data processing. So what is the data process involved? So in different domains, see, in data storage you will have unstructured data. It contains the Facebook having image, uh, video, and maybe speech. WhatsApp having speech, image, video. So those unstructured data also you have to store, right? Guys, are you able to hear and are you able to follow? Just give quick reply. Yes, right? So storing data, we have different types. We have relational database. So there you will store structured data and optimized for what? Only SQL queries. So data warehouses you will store. So data warehouses also will deal with structured data, and it is used for what? Optimized for analytics. So you want to do some aggregation or different tasks with the descriptive statistics. So you can use it is used for analytics. So data lakes is what? Collection of different possible data within the organization. Let's say if you are not having some data, you will scrape the data from the web and you will take permission and you will scrape and you will store the data into what? Data lakes. Data lakes is data lake contain JSON, XML, or any other file structure or different databases, NoSQL or SQL, and unstructured, structured, and everything. It is nothing but what? It is nothing but big data. Understood?
Yeah.
Okay, this is about storing the data and data processing. So in data processing, we have different tasks. Like one is what? Data wrangling, and you might heard about data wrangling and data munging. It's nothing but extracting, transforming, and loading, ETL kind of thing. See, always you no need to store the data as a data scientist. There will be a data engineer team. They will do all this process, and some data engineering will also do some data pre-processing. But companies will say better to have knowledge or pipeline or about these things. It is not mandatory. Remember this guys, it is not mandatory. Who are working in data engineering, they are lucky because this part they will be know, and they have to learn some machine learning and deep learning kind of the things. Understood? So in data processing we have what? Let me write down here. Data wrangling. So in data wrangling, what we do ETL task: extract, transform, load. Let's say you collected data in JSON format and you have to store that data in structured format. Let's say in your data you have name. Name means first name and last name, both in combined string is there. So when you are storing that data into structured database, so you will divide with what? You will divide with the column name as first name and last name. So that is nothing but what? You are extracting data and you are transforming and you are loading into something. So that is nothing but this task: data wrangling, ETL task. And another process is what? Data cleaning. So this data cleaning, so what is data cleaning job we do? In every data there are some there will be some missing values. You have to handle missing values and you have to correct some spelling errors. And let's say in your data, let's say you are having country column. In that country column, let's say some countries are written in French. Okay, you have to convert into English. And in data cleaning, another job is identifying and removing outliers. Imputation, when there are some missing values, you have to impute with something. like mean, median, mode, that we will discuss when the course progress. Okay, this is the data cleaning kind of the job, and processing the data. So what is third one? Processing the data. So in processing the data, we do what? We do different tasks here. Scaling. Scaling is nothing but, let's say you have some column, some continuous value in some meters, you have to convert into millimeters. Let's say you have kilometers, you have to convert into miles, the columns into miles, or different things. You will scale the thing, and you normalization. What is normalization? Let's say you have some data. Let's say I have height 165 centimeters, like that. My data is having different types of heights, different persons. Let's say I want to put this height continuous value into range between 0 to 1. So why 0 to 1 we will discuss when the course progress. Just uh, to aware of what these things I'm mentioning. So standardization. And you will convert this data into -3 to +3. See, what is standardization? You will convert any data into what? Mean as 0, and variance as 1. So these are the different data processing steps involved in data science. Okay, so I think you all aware of big data, right? So here I mentioned what normalization and standardization. Let's say I have big data. So it contains some 1,000 millions of rows. If the data contains 1,000 millions of rows, let's say if I have some environment, normal environment, in that normal environment, I want to normalize the data. If I normalize the data in small environment with that huge records, I am not able to do. It will take more time. So to do some process, so what I do, big data, what I will take Hadoop architecture or whatever the thing, I will divide the data into what? Divide the data into chunks. So you will divide the data into chunks. After the dividing data into chunks, every chunk you will do standardization or normalization, and you will sum up with the result. You will add those results into one column. Understood? So to do quick process, to do fast processing, let's say let's take Excel. See, in Excel, if you want to multiply 1434 into 2678, 4 digits into 4 digits multiplication. Let's say you will get result, right? You will get quick result. Let's say in Excel, if you are calculating 15 digits multiplication, what Excel will do, literally it will try to calculate these calculations. So that's where to calculate or to process for speed, you will use what? Big data engine. That's it. You will distribute the data, you will do whatever the mathematics or whatever the things you required. So you will do on that big data environment to process, to take take less time. Understood? So this is one of the tasks involved for data processing and data describing. See, in data describing, so here data describing is nothing but what? Visualizing, right? So you can compare the sales right now, big billion days and everything is going on Flipkart and Amazon, right? Let's say before COVID situation, what are the sales? After COVID situation, what are the sales? They want to represent in what? Visualization form. So uh, uh, so you can visualize those things using visualization. You can use in Python Matplotlib, Seaborn, and other things. So you can use Tableau, Excel, and everything. Whatever the tools required for visualization, you can use. And you can compare the sales. Let's say I spent some advertisement expenses. Advertisement expenses. And you want to check what sales. So you invest more and your sales are increasing. Let's say your data contains likes. So the increase in advertisements cost, the increase in sales. So you are able to see with data visualization. See, if your data is in tabular format, you cannot see while seeing tabular format data, you cannot summarize what is happening in the organization. You don't know. So with visualization, you are able to see how the sales are going and everything within the organization. Understood? So another task is what? Classification and regression. This is nothing but model building. See, in machine learning, if your task is regression, you have to draw a straight line. Means you have to fit a straight line. So drawing a line is nothing but building the machine learning model. Let's say this is class 1. So this is classification task, right? If this is classification task, this is class 1, this is class 2. So I want to classify, means I have to draw a line or curve line. So this, if you are able to draw, means if you are able to draw and you are able to classify, this data point belongs to class 1, this data point belongs to class 2. So how you do these things? Based on data, you are able to define the function. So you will estimate the function. That function, you will feed the input data to that function, you will get the results. So if you give some X inputs to the machine learning model, this is ML model, this is input data, this is output. Let's say you give some X input. So the output is what? Either this input data is belong to class 1 or class 2. So your machine learning model has to give what? This output. Understood? So these are the tasks involved in data scientist day-to-day job, from collecting to building the machine learning model. Till here, everyone is clear, right? Friends, please give me quick reply. Friends, I hope everyone is following, right? So how does a data scientist actually do in industry? So this is gathering data source. After gathering data source, you will do data analysis and feature engineering. Feature engineering is nothing but data processing. Here, data processing means what? Handling missing values, handling numerical features, handling categorical data, handling outliers, scaling, transforming, and everything will be involved in what? Feature engineering step. So they'll say not data processing, someone will say feature engineering and other kind of things. After feature engineering, what? Feature selection. So which variables are contributing to your output? So let's say, see, always you'll start project with 1000 or 3000 variables. Means what? Your x1, x2, and your data will be have up to some 3000 variables. So with this information, you cannot build the machine learning models. Always maybe some 15 to 30 variables, maybe you will build machine learning model with this only variables. So remaining variables are irrelevant variables. They are not contributing to your task. So you have to find that variables which are not irrelevant to your machine learning model or for your task. So you have to exclude those variables. That process is nothing but what? Feature selection. So after selecting the features, what? Based on your task in machine learning, either you have regression or classification task. So these are the two tasks involved in machine learning. Either it is regression or classification. Regression means what? You have to predict continuous value. Classification means what? You have to predict either, let's say you have review. Let's say in Amazon, every product will give review, right? So based on your review, either it should be predict, either it is positive review or negative review. Like you have to classify using machine learning models, either you have to classify it is positive or negative, like male, female. Let's say if you have 10 classes, so you have to build 10 class classifier using classification. So those things we will see when the course progress. Understood? So after feature selection, you will involve in what? Machine learning building and tuning. So after build this model, so you have to evaluate with what your business means. After using this machine learning technique, is it helping to your business or not? Understood? After evaluation, you will get good metrics, so then you can go for deployment and monitoring, so on different clouds like AWS, GCP, Azure. Understood? So nowadays companies are expecting from data collection, data analysis, feature engineering, feature selection, model developing and deployment and monitoring on different clouds also they are expecting in companies. Understood? So this is the data scientist actually do in the industry. So let's see how mathematics and programming skills important as a data scientist. So what are the skills required? One, you have to know descriptive statistics. Second, probability theory. And third, inferential statistics. And fourth, matrix algebra, calculus. And in calculus only, given some function, let's say some x square plus 4x plus 1, this is the function. So for this function, you are able to find maximum value. So what is the maximum value for this function or the minimum value function? Understood? So you have to know maximum minimum of the function. I think these things are in our engineering, right? So another calculus is what? Optimization algorithms. Okay. So in calculus, only things required is maximum, minimum, and optimization algorithms, nothing more than that. This is not a rocket science mathematics. It is easy mathematics, and you will learn everything in the course. So anyway, machine learning, deep learning, and what are the programming skills required? Python or SAS. And nowadays, your machine learning in programming language, see, it was written. You can also write machine learning in JavaScript, TensorFlow, and .NET. I don't know about Java. So you can implement in JavaScript, .NET also. Understood? Anyway, SAS only pharma company will use. So it is who are in pharma domain, so they have to learn SAS. Others, it is not required, not at all for software companies. Understood? And R is rolled out because of most of the software companies they are working on Python. Before they used to work on R, but most of the software companies they are expecting Python as a data scientist, not with R. Learning R is okay, but companies, according to your company expectation, you will learn, right? If you learn R with data science, that doesn't make any sense. If you got selected also, again you have to implement with Python only. Okay, and these are the packages and frameworks: NumPy, Pandas, SciPy, Mat. These are the visualization tools: Matplotlib and Seaborn. And NumPy for processing and create. NumPy is used for linear algebra. So whenever you create matrix multiplication, addition, subtraction, and other type of things. Pandas is used for data manipulation, and sklearn used for machine learning. TensorFlow for deep learning. PyTorch, Keras, these are used for deep learning, and Flask and Django. So for model deployment, you have to create API. So that API should be either in Flask, Django, Streamlit, Pyramid, and there are different frameworks, Fast API or any other thing. So based on your company preference, you have to use. Understood? Till here, do you have any questions?
Will deep
Friends, are
learning
you able to
all the
follow?
yes, sir. Will all the 10 algorithms of deep learning will be taught, or it is
Deep
specified
learning
deep
10
learning? All the algorithms of deep learning, or the specified algorithm?
Before answering to the question, I will explain what is statistical modeling, what is machine learning, what is deep learning. Then you will come to know. Okay. Okay. Who is this?
Okay, sir.
What is your name?
Sriram, sir.
Sriram. Okay. So let me tell you about what is these things. What is statistical modeling, machine learning, and deep learning. So you'll come to know. So before you are not aware what is machine learning, deep learning. Also you don't know what is statistical modeling. Also you may not know. Most of the members, even industry, also most of the members don't know what is the differences. So let me continue for other 10-20 minutes so that what is AI and what is machine learning, statistical modeling, and everything you will come to know. But before till here, everything is okay, right? These things, are you able to follow? Friends, only Sriram give reply. Others just okay. Okay, let me continue. See, what is statistical modeling? See what are the statistics and what is the statistical modeling, and how to deal with this. See, statistical modeling, so what it do, it checks underlying the data distribution. What is underlying data distribution, we'll come to know within 1-2 minutes. And statistical model are designed for inference about what relationship between two variables. Let's say you have some two variables, like I showed in visualization, right? As my advertisement, so if you invest more on advertisement, your sales is also increasing, right? So there is relationship. So if you invest more on advertisement, you are getting sales more. So you are able to see the inference, means there is relation between, means positive relation. So as you increase on advertisement, you are getting more profit and sales. So there is some relationship between. So the statistical modeling tells about what underlying data distribution, inference about relationship between two variables, and what you have to frame test of hypothesis, framing and testing hypothesis test. So giving statistical guarantees. So what is this framing and testing hypothesis? What are these statistical guarantees? We'll see now. Let's say, let's take viral count. See, viral count is nothing but every human being will have some viral count. Let's say 500 or 7, let's say some 1500. So means every body will contain some viral. So when you are get diseased, or when you are suffering with fever, cold, cough, the viral will be increased in our body. Actually that is the normal behavior. Let's say 1500 is the normal for every human being. Because that human being got affected with some virus, the viral count will be increased in our body. Understood? Let's say some people, they affected with some disease, so they are having this viral count 23, 27, 25, 20, 25, 67, and these are the different data values. So it is ranging, it is taking some 2200 to 2000, 3000, let's say. up to 3000 it is taken, different values, different person having different values. So I have this data. With this data I can check the distribution of the data. Understood? So when I check the distribution, I have this data, so I can calculate mean value, right? So this 2500 is nothing but what? Average value. Understood? Let's say there are different types of data distribution. Now stick with just, if you understand or not understand, listen for some time. Okay. So this data is distributed normally. Okay. So see here. Let's say one pharma company is introducing some drug. So they want to test that drug on this persons. Okay. So before applying the drug, they take what? They collected the values. So after applying the drug, they tested some test and they collected different types of values. Before applying the drug, the data is distributed like this. After applying the drug, the data is distributed is like this. So the red curve is what? After applying the drug. So before applying the drug, so here what is the average of the viral count? 2500, right? So after applying the drug, what is your average viral count? 2250, right? So they want to check. So let's say the statistician want to check this 2250 and 2500, is this significant difference? Means, is this drug is really affecting this human body? Means, is it reducing? So if it is reducing, so that drug will be released into market, right? So if it is not affecting, so they want statistical test to introduce. Means, if the statistical test goes well and gives result, so they can able to release the drug into market, right? So as a statistician, he has to say, is the 2250 and 2500 is having significant difference? Means, it is having impact on the human body or not? So that's where statistic will come place to tell this 2250 and 2500 will have some significant difference or not. The statistical methods will tell. So to do that, you will do what? Framing hypothesis. You may not understand this whenever the course progresses. Okay, you will understand. So you will frame the hypothesis. So drug is not working. This is null hypothesis and this is alternative. So always you will frame with what? Drug is not working and drug is working. So based on your test, what you will do? Either you will accept this one or you will reject this one. So that's where your statistical methods will help to release the drug or not into the market. Understood? So I will apply some statistical test. So based on the test, I can say the drug is effective or not. Understood? So what is the statistical guarantee you are going to see? So let's say, so I am 99 or 95% confident, sure the drug is working or not working. So if your test gives it is positive, so it is working. So you will say what? So I am 99 or 95% confidence the drug is working on patients. So you will report that, and if the you will report as a statistician, you will report. So after after they do some trials and they will release the drug into the market. Understood? So in statistical methods, what first we are interested in underlying distribution. After that we are interested in what? To check the relationship between in the data. So let's see what is the relationship between. See, I have before I have viral count. Now I have taken another variable as a drug. So here I plotted. So this is viral count data and this is drug, right? So as I increase the units of the drug from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, I'm increasing the dosage of drug. Is the viral count is decreasing? Let's say is the my data is like this. So as I go on increase on the drug, my viral count is what? Decreasing. This is negative relationships that you will come to know. Oh, what is this? So I have data points like this. So with that data points, I am able to draw a straight line. Understood? That straight line is nothing but fitting a regression line on data. that we'll come to know. Okay, so this is not fitting a straight line is nothing but what in our basic maths in our school. So y is equal to mx plus c. So viral count is equal to m into m is nothing but what slope into drug plus c is the constant. So here what you are see after you infer relation, let's say you are saying some relationship is there. So what is the relationship? You have to say in statistical way. I am 99 or 95% sure that 1 unit increase in the drug viral count. So if you increase 1 unit drug, the viral count is decreased by what? 37 units. Means let's say I started with what? 26, 27. See, every time it is, see, increase in 1 unit. 1 unit increase in drug, always it is decreasing how much? 37 times. So for 1 unit, it is having what? 26, 27. Let's say you increased for another unit means what? 2 units. This will become 2590 means 37 times it decreased. For 3 units, it decreased 2553, right? So linear relationship means is what? Every time you increase some amount, it is decreasing with only 37 units. That is nothing but linear relationship. Every time it is decreasing only 37, not with 40, 45 or everything. Increase in 1 unit, always 37 times it is decreasing. That is nothing but linear relationship. So you will say that I am 99 or 95% confident, sure, 1 unit increase in drug viral count decreased by 37. So you will give those type of statistical guarantees. So these statistical guarantees will give what robust analysis is possible when we use simple methods. This y is equal to mx plus c, these are the simple methods, right? These are not complex functions, right? So whenever we use simple methods and underlying data distribution and to infer the relationship between variables, we will go for what? Statistical methods. Understood? Understood, guys? Let's see what is machine learning, deep learning, or algorithmic modeling. If we require statistical guarantees, we are limited to what? Simple model. But if I choose complex functions, I cannot give what? So if you choose some complex functions, let's say log into e power log power x cube power, and there is some function. So if the function is like this, you cannot give any statistical guarantees for this. Understood? So whenever so in real world there is much more complex relationships than linear relationship. The relationships depends on what? Many factors. See here we checked only what? Initially we have checked what is y is viral count. So initially we have only checked with what? Drug. But after applying drug also, there may be effect of age, height, weight, medical condition, food, or everything, right? So you'll have different variables, right? X1 is drug, X2 is age, X3 is height, X4 is weight. Like this, there are a lot of variables involved, BP, sugar, and everything, right? So because of the some factor may affect on the viral count, right? So that's where. So let's say if the my output y is having relationship with x1 x2 to xn, but I don't know what is the relationship. If it is complex to define this relationship, I have to come up with what? Some model. See, let's say y is equal to f of x, right? So y is equal to f of x is nothing but, let's say you have some x1 to x5 variables. So to define the relationship between these 5 variables with y, I will come up with some simple model. I am having y is equal to f of x. My x is involved, let's say x12 to x20. So I have the complex relationship between these 20 variables and with this y. So that time I have to come with some complex function like this type complex model. This is nothing but tan h function. So e power beta naught plus beta 1x. See, this beta is nothing but y is equal to mx plus c, right? This is slope and this is constant. These are nothing but parameters. Like when you have, this is only 1x. If you have x1 to x10, you will have what? 10 parameters. Understood? So let's say I have three variables. So that's why I have, this is nothing but constant. These are nothing but parameters like slopes. Understood? So to define a relationship, so sometimes you may need complex mathematics function. So that's where your ML does it allow complex function to use define the relationship between x and y. Understood, guys? Say you have the data. This is belongs to class 1 and this belongs to class 2. So whenever you have to classify this thing. So to classify this thing, what you have to do? See, you're doing simple modem with what? Straight, right? You're drawing a straight line. Is it possible to draw a straight line and to classify these 2 points, Prince? If you are able to understand, give replay. Someone, someone might knowing some machine learning algorithms, right? If someone knows, please give replay. Friends, are you there? Guys, okay. So you want to classify these things. So if to classify these things, you have, see, this simple straight line doesn't fit to classify these two. So you have to draw a line. This to draw this line, there is a complex functions involved to represent this curvilinear point. Understood? Understood, guys? So what is the machine learning goal? Machine learning goal is what? To estimate the function using past data, using some optimization technique and using new data. So you build some machine learning model and you are estimated what? Some function, some complex function. So now given some x input data, new data, you are able to predict what? Y. So using new data, the x variable is given to the some function x, you are able to get what? Output y. So in ML, focus is on prediction, not on underlying data distribution or relationship between two variables. So see, in statistical methods, you're checking what? How the data is distributed and how the relationship between the x1 to x5 or x10 variables. So you will check those assumptions. So those are nothing but some assumptions. So you will check some assumptions there in statistical model. But in machine learning, you don't care assumptions. So you given input, you only see the prediction. So am I able to predict correct or not? You will check. You doesn't care how the data is distributed, how the relationship between those two variables. I don't care. I will only give an input. Is my algorithm is able to give the output or not? You will only check those things. You will nothing care about other things. You don't care about other things. So that's where the difference between the statistical models and machine learning. So statistical models what? Simple and intuitive model. So machine learning are what? Complex and flexible models. So these statistical models are what? More suitable for what? Low dimensional. And these machine learning models are what? Can work with high dimensional data. Means low dimensional data means what? Let's say you have some x1 to x10 variables. So you can go for what? Statistical modeling. If you have x1 to x100 or x50, if you have more variables to deal with those problems, you have to use what? Machine learning techniques. Understood? So this will give what? Robust statistical analysis. Nothing but what? You will give some statistical guarantee. I am 95 or 99% confidence that this is the result. But in machine learning, not suitable for robust or statistical analysis. Here in statistical analysis, focus on interpretability of X and Y, like data distribution and relationship. Here your focus is only on what? Prediction. These are data lean models and these are data hungry models. Data lean means, let's say you are having simple, let's say you are having records of 5,000, 10,000. So you can build the statistical models. Let's say you are having 10 millions, above 20, 30 millions. These are data hungry models. How much you have data, the best model you are able to obtain. Understood? In machine learning. So these are more on statistics and these are more on ML and DL. So what are the different statistical models? ANOVA, linear regression, logistic regression, and linear discriminant analysis. And ML and DL models: linear regression, logistic regression, linear discriminant analysis, decision trees, KNN, Naive, SVM, and ensemble methods. So till here, these are the machine learning techniques, and this neural network, CNN, RNN, LSTM, GRUS, etc. are deep learning. So whenever you have small data, go for statistical model, and you want to check the relationship between variables or underlying data distribution and need statistical guarantees, go for these methods. If you don't care about statistical guarantees, other things, go for machine learning models. And you may ask, you are saying in statistical models you have linear regression, logistic regression, but in machine learning also you are having linear regression. So what is the difference there? So whenever you are fitting linear regression or linear regression, so here you will assume something. So you will assume something and you want statistical guarantees. So here in ML, you have big data and you don't care about how your data is distributed or relationship, nothing. Just you want to prediction. You will apply some different optimization techniques, so you don't assume anything, just you will go for prediction. So that's why you can also apply linear regression in statistics and machine learning also. Understood the difference now, friends? Are you able to follow, guys? Friends, are you able to hear me? Guys, are you able to hear me or not? Are you till now, till here, are you able to understand? Are you able to follow? Please open your mic and you can speak something. If you are following or not following, how I can know? Speak up, guys.
Yes, sir, you're able to follow.
Only one person in the class? Okay. So whenever you are having high dimension data, see high dimension in the sense, let's say your image content, let's say 30 cross 30. So 30 cross 30 image, you are having 30 cross 30 means image is nothing but matrices, guys. So if you multiply this, 30 cross 30 is nothing but 900. So every image will have what? 900 inputs, means x 900, means you have x1 to x 900 dimension data. Dimension means what? This is, okay, this is one dimension, this is another dimension, this is xy, this is nothing but 2D, right? And this is 3D. As a human being, we are able to only visual 3D as a human being in the world. We are not able to visualize 4D, ND, or 10D or nothing. So, but we can do ND, multiplication or division or anything. So, whenever you have unstructured data and data is huge, so for the data, for those types of data, you have to do some task, right? So for that, you will use what? Deep learning models, neural network, convolution neural network, recurrent, LSTM, GRUS, etc. So whenever you have large dimensional data, you want to learn very complex relationships between the output and input, use a specific class of complex ML models and algorithms, collectively referred as what? Deep learning. Understood? That unstructured data is nothing but what? Your video, your image, your speech, your text. So whatever you are charting, right, giving reviews and everything, those are unstructured data. To deal with unstructured data, you have to go for deep learning algorithms. Understood? So why deep learning is popular? Because of high computation power, because of high amount of data is generating every day, good frameworks available like TensorFlow, PyTorch, etc. Understood? Till now, everyone able to hear, able to understand?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Does it make any sense till now? Speak up, guys. If someone is able to speak.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you have any queries, I can speak more, but there is no response, so I will stop here. So if you have any queries, we will continue. Okay. Guys, if you have any queries, questions, you can ask.
Sir, do you teach in the level of specialization for deep learning or just the PyTorch, TensorFlow, or the things only?
See, the syllabus, let me show you syllabus. So we'll get a clarity. So here module 1 is descriptive and inferential statistics. So we'll deal with statistics and statistical methods. And module 2 is Python programming. So what? See, this is not Python course. So whatever the required things useful in data science, I will teach those things. Okay, I'll teach Python. So whatever the thing required. So data science module, I'll teach NumPy, Pandas. Okay, and for visualization, I'll teach what? Matplotlib and Seaborn. Using these are the different plots. Okay, anyway, we'll use sklearn, Keras for neural networks, SciPy. Okay, and this is prediction analytics, nothing but your regression analysis. So this is for regression. So this is for machine learning. So these are the topics will be covered in the course. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Support vector machine, NLP, time series, neural networks, ensemble methods, random forest, XGBoost, and everything tree-based discriminant analysis. So KNN classifier, logistic regression, and I will also cover feature selection, feature engineering, and how to handle imbalanced data. So these are the topics for handling imbalanced data, deployment and monitoring. And projects I didn't mention here. We'll go through some at least 5 projects, and I'll give some tasks other 5. Okay.
Sir, I'm having one more, sir.
Yeah.
Since when we try for a solution for the machine learning scientist, after getting to the course with diverse knowledge, uh, since already cloud computing services like Amazon Web Service, GCP, the Google Cloud Platform, and Azure, they're already providing the models. that is
Yes.
application programming interface, then
Yeah.
how far will our model will be good when compared to them? Because there are, since it's a giant company, they may be having a better models which give more accuracy when compared to us. Therefore, in that case, what is the demand for the machine learning scientists or deep learning engineers or MLP engineers?
See, those models are drag and drop models. So there you
Okay.
don't write code, right? Just you will drag and drop, right?
Yes, sir. That means
So
they are not
there,
specific models.
as it see those tasks for who are not involved in mathematics. Just let's say if someone is in DevOps and who are let's say some business analyst or any other kind of thing, people they will use those type of things. See, as a machine learning or data scientist, they have to know some mathematics and they have to write Python code. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So with that, see, you build a machine learning model and you have to create API, and that API should be accessed with client, right? So for that API, you may use Flask, Django, or Pyramid, and some other different types of web frameworks are available. See, to build API, so depends upon task. Let's say some web development is involved, so Django developers or Flash developers will be involved, so you will assist with them to create the API. So in AWS you can create API, but it will do automatic, so there will be you are not able to knowing how to create that API and everything. So the tool will do itself. That doesn't make any sense to become great data scientist.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, those tools will not replace data scientists. So who are not aware to learn, for them it will be useful.
Okay. But the efficiency will be different, no, sir, between
No,
both the models.
see, when you build from scratch, always your model will be good.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Understood?
sir. Rather than the models to
Yeah.
AWS or Azure.
See, you will you will do exploratory data analysis. You will do feature selection with different types. See, they will also use same algorithm. The backbone is sklearn only,
Yes, sir.
but you will do some robust analysis in depth. Understood?
Yes,
Using Python. So their
yes,
code will be not available. It will do automatic task. Understood?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So someone replied, Tarun, sir, I am working on HCM. Now I want to move to ML and AI. So without experience, how can I come into new technology even after training? I attend Durga sir's Python session completely. See, Python doesn't see learning Python. It doesn't make you data scientist. So learning mathematics skills and you have some mathematics skills only will make you data scientist. If you learn any language, Python or R or any other thing, that doesn't make you data scientist. That is clear from my side. So you may not aware, but in companies they will ask programming language. See, let me tell you one example. See, you don't know how to do addition, subtraction, multiplication. You don't know. As a kid, you are not aware of that. So if I give a tool, means if I give a calculator and if I train you on calculator how to add subtraction, will is that effective learning? See, while learning addition subtraction, what we do, we will put pen on paper and pen, and we will learn tables and everything, right? So giving some device, if I explain addition subtraction, will you learn? You will just use the tool, but you don't use the brain, right?
Yes, sir.
Understood?
Yeah, yeah.
Tarun, got cleared, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's clear. So after this training, still, how do we get hands-on experience on all these
See,
concepts? Because
what is
if we
your
go and attend training, they might ask beyond what we are learning in the classroom and all.
see?
For example, say
Mm,
I attended Python session, but I don't know NumPy, Pandas, those packages and all. So I'm doing some research over internet and trying to get hands-on. But if I after taking this course, if I want to move before attending the training interviews, what should how should I prepare for that?
So you have to execute some hands-on projects, okay, using
Okay,
data sets. That I will give those things. See, you're working, right?
yes,
On which domain?
HCM.
Means what? I'm
Uh,
not aware of that.
it's I'm working on PeopleSoft right now,
People. So, okay. See,
and
eh,
few other ADP
okay.
products actually. Yeah,
Okay. Are you dealing with some data there?
like normal Oracle database.
Say, some Oracle database. That Oracle
Yes,
database contains some data, right? Some
correct.
insurance or whatever the domain. I am asking
Yeah,
about that
a payroll domain.
payroll. So on that domain, if you are able to interpret any business case study on data science, try to do that hands-on. So anyway, you have domain knowledge. If you are able to interpret your domain into data science, put those things on resume. Let's say, suppose if you are not able to interpret, or if you are not able to use the domain knowledge in your uh, day job, so then you have to work you have to put extra effort on some domain which is familiar with you. Then in the domain, you have to tell in some business case, I have applied machine learning for this problem. So there will be some steps to execute the project that you will come to know. Okay. See, any domain, if the domain, some little amount of data science involved, take that thing and represent in your resume as experience. Understood?
Okay.
Let's say you are familiar with HR analytics. What are the HR analytics, machine learning, or AI or data science involved in that? Grab those things and put it on a resume and try to execute those things. If you are able to execute those things, you are able to represent in interview in proper way, so that this fellow, his work in real time, he will come. So he will agree with you, so then they will hire.
Okay, yeah.
So with Java and .NET also we can do, or Python only is suitable for data science. See, you can do, see, with JavaScript also we can do deep learning. So that depends upon the uh, business. So in your business, there is deep learning or any other things involved in .NET or Java. So there you can use. But to learn data science, Python is the best way. After you know Python with the data science, if you are familiar with .NET or Java, you can implement with it, right? That is not a big deal. See, here algorithm, your underlying mathematics is not changing. So if you go if you go to PySpark or Python, Java, .NET, your machine learning mathematics is not changing. There it is, programming language is changing. That's it. Understood? Okay, Peter. If anyone having queries, you can ask, guys. At least you are able to follow, right? At least is there any difference. See, you might have attended different demos, but you may not know what is what. At least you got some knowledge what is what right today. Okay.
Yes, yes, sir. It's clear.
Guys, if you are not having any doubts, I'll close the session. If you're having, you can speak up. Tarun, he got cleared. Shravya, Peter, his doubt got cleared. So no one is having doubts, right? So can I close the session if you're not having doubts, friends? Okay, guys, I'm closing the session.